Currently, there is a lot of concern about haze affecting our region, and we have often heard statements blaming clearing of forests or land by burning, and this is to plant crops like oil palm and others. And this type of statement is inaccurate. It's not correct. The oil palm industry, whether in Malaysia or in Indonesia, is very much concerned about the effect of open burning. They have already practiced no open burning in their everyday operations in their plantations. So it is not possible for anyone to deliberately use open burning to clear land for planting crops like oil palm, because it is illegal, and anyone doing it would take a big risk for doing so, as they could go to jail. So this is the situation, especially in Indonesia. The law is very strict. If you have in your plantation an occurrence of fire, you must report this fire occurrence immediately to the police. This is a standard, a standing order in order to implement the law, make it more transparent, and it is impossible for any plantation company to deliberately light a fire for whatever purpose and then having to report the fire to the police. And this is the reality in this situation. Problem of fire is that there may be, due to the very lengthy dry season, almost no rain for the last 3 months in certain parts of the Indonesia, Kalimantan, and so on. So it is very easy for the bushes, abandoned agricultural land, unattended agricultural land to catch fire, either through careless, throwing of cigarette butts or whatever. And when a little fire is already detected, it will take a lot of trouble to put out that fire, because during the dry season, this fire will spread very fast. And with all the good intention to help fight and put the fires, often the resources are not available immediately, at high speed, to contain the fires. There may be pumps, but there may not be enough water. There is no water source on which to immediately douse the fires. So these are practical problems on the ground, and long term we can probably overcome this by preparing water ponds or tube wells in pit areas in order to prepare for dry season fire occurrence. But right now, some areas, especially forest areas, are very prone to wildfires because the situation is very dry. So the oil palm industry have anticipated, the oil palm industry has anticipated the dry season and the fire hazard occurring. So they have often built lookout towers to look out for, high towers in the middle of plantation to look out for sign of fire. They have dug a lot of reservoirs or ponds to retain water in order to have water supply to douse out any fire. Some plantation companies do what they call community service to help put out fires occurring around their plantations, in the villages or in the small holdings of agricultural farmers, at least to a distance of 5 kilometers around their plantations. And they work very well hand in hand with authorities, the fire department, the police, to make sure that fire will not happen and spread to their plantations. The danger is if fire from wasted agricultural shrub areas were to spread to oil palm plantations, it is the plantation companies who will lose a lot of crops, a lot of money eventually, because their good palms are burned out by fires. This is obviously a no-no situation for them. So it takes them, and it makes it very viable for them to actually have put out fires outside their territory, so that the fire will never come into their territory. So this is the standard practice operating in Indonesia. Especially, I know the Malaysian plantations are very much into doing all these activities. So, but when we get to read some of the media write-ups about the haze, the fires, the wildfires, they forget to note that wildfires for this period is happening all over the world, in all continents of the world. Bigger fires occurring in Russia, in California, in Australia, in Europe, Greece, Italy. All these countries are now facing wildfires. It's good that they recognize this as wildfires, perhaps due to climate shift, and this will continue to occur. No government can contain this climate shift issue, but for developing countries, they tend to use this fire as a opportunity to make wild allegations against the interests of the palm oil industry, saying these fires are deliberately created to clear land in a cheap way in order to plant oil palm. We have stopped using this technique long time ago. To clear land to plant oil palm is no longer using fire, whether during the dry season or during the wet season. We clear land using bulldozers, and that is standard practice, because the practice of clearing land by wildfire is simply prohibited, illegal, and very risky. People go to jail if they do so and get caught.